Hello there, everyone. I think we're live, and I think we're live the right way this time. Welcome to the Real Life Process community. I am going to double check that we are doing all the things we're supposed to be doing, Lindsay, before we dive in.
Sounds
Yes,
good.
we are. We are
We're
doing all
live.
the
Awesome.
things. We are live. So, welcome everyone. My name is Teresa McCloy, and I'm the creator and founder of the Real Life Process community and the Real Life Process. And this is our marketing director and launch team leader, Lindsay Sturkey. So, welcome, Lindsay.
Hey, good to be with you guys.
It is going to be so much fun. We have been waiting for a long time to kind of launch into this part of bringing the book, Do What Matters, Live from Rust, Not Rush, into the world. And many of you have joined us just recently for our book launch. And we're using this community to do many of those things. And Lindsay, why don't you tell them all the details of just signing up and what those
Yes.
things are?
Yes. So we're looking for people who say, yes, I'm in. I want to be on the launch team. And if you go to the pinned post in this Facebook group, you will see all of the reasons why you want to join us and the specific things we're asking of you. So we want you to know if you're joining, what exactly you're signing up for. But one of the exciting benefits of being on the launch team is that every Wednesday, normally we'll be in here at 11 a.m. Central Time. Teresa and I are going to come on and we are going to talk through the content of the book together. And so we're going to kind of go through the book, talk about what's in there. Teresa's going to share a little bit more beyond what's in the book. And this will be a great time for us to come together as a group and just dive into the content of the book together. And so if you haven't signed up for the book launch team yet, we would encourage you to do that. I'll drop the link in the comments, or you can go check out that pinned post. But a couple benefits: if you sign up for the launch team, we will send you a free paperback copy of the book once you leave an Amazon review. Now, we're going to send you a digital copy either way once you join the launch team. But once you leave your review, you'll get a free paperback copy of the book. And we have a special bonus for not only the first 25 people who sign up, or if you are one of the first 25 to leave a review on Amazon, you will get our exclusive full color real life process guidebook. And that is something not available anywhere else. And that's going to be something we send. Teresa's going to grab it. We have it to show it to you. But we're really, really excited about this. And so this will be just for the first 25 to sign up or the first 25 to leave a review. So there's the guidebook, not available anywhere else. It's a place for you to write out your own process as you go through the book.
I'm doing a little Vanna White here because
Yes.
on the Facebook Live I did earlier this week on Monday, I talked about the guidebook and I said I would show it to you. So I need to keep my promise. So sorry for leaving the screen, but this is our guidebook. We love it. 62 pages of things. This really won't come out kind of publicly until later this year or even the first of next year. So this is your opportunity, just our way of saying thanks to you for, signing up for the launch team, but also for leaving those reviews. And we will get those mailed out to you along with your paperback copy of the book so that you can be all in for being a part of launching a book. And Lindsay, I know you've been on book launch teams before and been a part of it. What are some things that you've enjoyed about doing a book launch team?
I think I really enjoyed seeing some of the behind the scenes. When you read a book, you glean the content and you get a lot out of it, but there's something about walking through that content with the author and hearing more of their heart behind the story. And not only that, but getting some of the kind of behind the scenes of what does it take to launch a book, to write a book, and just get that connection with the author, to me, has been huge. But I think also connecting with other people that connect with the book, because people who are part of this book launch team are those who want to be intentional with their time, who want to grow in both their being and their doing as we go through the process together.
Mm-hmm.
And so that connection with a community and diving into the book together, to me, that's such a special part of being on a launch team, is being around the people that are sharing this book with you.
Yeah, I love that too. We both love community. It's one of the things we value here at the Real Life Process is community. And so doing this together is kind of like this online book club that we get to do. And I want you to have access to me into Lindsay, and that's why she's going to be doing all the lives with me. She'll be able to answer your behind the scene questions and all of those things. I just want to show up, engage with you, and give you some of the behind the scenes of stories that are in the book, of some of our facilitators, of how the process came together, and just some of the history and the different things behind the book. So we hope, to be able to do that.
Yes. And so we want to kind of start doing that today, because starting next week, we're going to go through some of the content of the book together with each of the 4 components of the actual process. But the first 3 chapters of the book are really, Teresa, your story and why you came up with the real life process in the first place, what that has meant to you. And so I love how in those first 3 chapters, we get to hear more of your story and more of the heart behind the process. And so I would love just today, for those of you on the book launch team, for you to hear from Teresa, why the real life process, how did it come to be, and what it means to you.
Well, thank you for that. And I will just give you a couple of places in those first 3 chapters. As you get the PDF version as a part of the launch team, Lindsay will be getting that out to you in the next few days. And it's an easy read. I just want you guys to hear that. One of the things that our publisher, Morgan James, does is actually put the read time on the back of the book. And I think the read time on this is 145 minutes or something like that. I mean, it's not a hard read. It's not a deep read, but it does have my story there in the beginning. And one of the things I say in that introductory chapter is this. It says, in those days. So remember, this is me writing from a reflection in the first 3 chapters of even what life was like 10 years ago for me, how I was living and what I was doing. And in those days, we focused on 3 things. So 10 years ago, I was focused on farming. I was focused on church because I was full-time in ministry, and on our kids. But I say in the book, I was juggling all those things on hyperdrive. And for so long, the hyperdrive became normal to us. Emotionally, physically, and spiritually, relationally, all those things were kind of suffering in my life. And I knew that something was about to give. Like I talk about it almost like blow up, like I was going to step on a landmine and it was going to explode. And that's kind of what I felt like. I was just tippy-toeing around things. And I go more into that in the first 3 chapters, kind of what was really going on. But that's where I was. I was hyperdrive. Hair on fire is often the term that I use. Might be why I have gray hair. I'm not sure. But it just was this very rushed state. Everything about my life felt rushed. The subtitle is Live from Rest, Not Rush. So I was on a journey, and I knew I was about to, something was going to happen. I was going to hit the wall. Something was going to happen. And that was 10 years ago. And that really started me on this, how do I want to do life differently? So a term that we often use, and you can read in those first 3 or 4 chapters, what happened, what was the transformation, those things. But a term that we often use, and you had brought up when we were talking about this, is something I now call a modern day rule of life, right? Creating, okay, I get to decide how I want to live life. I get to decide what's important to me. God and I get to discern together what are the things and how do I want to live that life. So I talk about in the very 3rd chapter, right before we get into the process, what that looks like. And that term rule of life comes from a lot of different faith traditions and a lot of different places and a lot of different cultures and different things. But really what it's saying is that I'm going to decide ahead of time what I'm going to say yes to, what I'm going to say no to, what are the areas of focus is what we call them, what are the big rocks that matter in my life. I'm going to review that on a regular basis, and I'm going to form a way of living that speaks to me and that God and I have decided together. And that's really then what we dive into in the process. So here's where I'm going to live from. I'm going to live from this being. Then how am I going to do that? And we give you a process to walk through. So that's kind of the first 3 chapters. I can't wait to hear kind of your questions and your feedback, even as we go live next Wednesday here. I think we're going at 11 o'clock. Is that right?
11
next
Central,
Wednesday. Yep. Love for you to, even underneath this post, give us some questions, give us some feedback, give us some, gosh, what about this? And I read this in the story. And so you're going to have about a week to kind of dive into the book. I said it won't take you long to read those first 3 chapters. And we just love to hear your feedback. But Lindsay, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I think as you are sharing your own experience, I wonder how many of you relate to that hyperdrive being normal, feeling normal to you. And so I love that our subtitle is Live from Rest, Not Rush. And so would just invite all of us to consider, where are we living from a place of rush in our lives? Where is hyperdrive becoming normal to us? And so, Teresa, I love even how you kind of towards the end of the 3rd chapter, you extend the invitation to us in the book, where you say, are you ready? Is it time to settle down the chaos that is shaken up in your life? Are you ready to explore what it might feel like to think differently and act and react differently? And so I feel like that's the invitation for us today. Even on the back of the book, it says, let go of the chaos and choose to do life differently. So if you are feeling that unsettledness or that rush or that hyperdrive that has become normal, I'm excited for us to go through this book together. And something we have our facilitator program, which is the coaches and the entrepreneurs that are trained and certified to teach this content. And something we tell them often is to discover the power of the process for yourself and then help others do the same. And so as we are excited to tell other people about this book, it starts with us and with us kind of experiencing that transformation and learning to do life differently. And so that's really what we're inviting you to as part of this book launch team, is to discover the power of the process for yourself and then invite others to do the same with you.
Oh, that's so good. And it's the invitation, right? Like, you get to choose when and where and how. And we're just excited to be on this journey with you. And Lindsay's going to take great care of you along the way and just walk with you. You'll get an email from us every week as part of the book launch team. And I know there's many of you that are in this community that you may watch the lives and all of those things. You may not have committed to be on the book launch team. Totally okay. Just hang with us and take it in. And you may decide there is a place that you want to share or that you want to comment. Please do. But there are those of you that specifically have said, yes, I'm all in and I want to take part. And so just engage here with us. This is our fun space. We love to hang out and do these kind of things. And I can't wait to see your comments down below, even as you read those first 3 chapters. So thanks, Lindsay, for being with me and hanging out here. And we'll be back next Wednesday around 11 o'clock. Check out the pinned post. And what we mean by pinned is it's the very first post at the top of this group that we have pinned there. So it's easy for you to sign up, get all the benefits, the guidebook, the book. I'll do another little Vanna, the guidebook and the book. And just come along on the journey with us, and it's going to be fun.
Yep. Can't wait. See you next Wednesday, everybody.
See you, everybody.